I promise you, if the Sabres take a defenseman at 8, the next video I will make is a video of me burning my Sabres jerseys. And if they take that goalie, so help me God. Hey everyone, my name is Melody and thank you for clicking on this video. So it is my favorite time of the year. It is officially draft week. I love the NHL draft. It is like Christmas to me. The Buffalo Sabres have picked in the top 8 since 2013, so I mean, what else are we supposed to pay attention to? You think by now we'd be a dynasty, but instead we're just kind of a joke. So after a very painfully long off season, we're finally back, finally something to talk about. Before we talk about this year, I kind of just want to give you an understanding about my relationship with the NHL draft. There's this thing that happens a lot where I want the Sabres to pick a player, and they don't pick the player I want, but that player ends up going the very next pick. Like in 2013, I badly wanted Bo Horvat. He was the guy I wanted. I thought the Sabres had to take him at 8. That year they took Rasmus Ristolainen at 8, who, I mean, you know how I feel about Rasmus Ristolainen, but then Bo Horvat goes the very next pick to the Vancouver Canucks at 9, and, you know, he's their captain now. I think he worked out pretty well for them. Then the very next year, 2014, the Sabres picked 2nd, and I did not want Sam Reinhart. I made that very clear. I did not want Sam Reinhart. I thought, while, you know, he had great hockey sense, I just thought, you know, I didn't think he had enough skill to make up for it. I wanted Leon Draisaitl. I thought, you know, I loved what I saw from him. Great skater, he's got skill. I just thought, you know, even just watching his highlights on YouTube, I just thought that he just seemed like he would translate so much better to the NHL than Sam Reinhart would. And I mean, Sam Reinhart's not a bad player, but he didn't just win the Hart. And then in 2016, we picked 8th overall again, and that was the draft in Buffalo. Mikhail Sergachev fell to 8, and that was the obvious pick. That was the obvious pick to anyone watching. I was texting people oh my God, I can't believe Sergachev fell to us. Awesome, we're getting Sergachev. That's going to be a great pick for us. And, you know, people were texting me back oh yeah, Sergachev, cool. It was painfully obvious that Sergachev was the pick. And then, I remember right before the Sabres went up to make the pick, I was like, you know, we better not take Alex Nylander here. You can imagine my anger when Tim Murray walked up and picked Alex Nylander. Mikhail Sergachev, of course, went to Montreal at 9. So, I'm not saying that I'm a better scout than the Buffalo Sabres because I watch YouTube clips, but, that might just be what I'm saying. So, yeah, the Sabres tend to frustrate me a lot with their drafting, but I still watch it every year. I still get excited for it every year, only to be let down, So this year, 2020, the Sabres are picking 8th overall, and to me, without a doubt, the Sabres are going to take a forward. I've seen a lot of people suggest that the Sabres should take a defenseman at 8. Let me make myself clear. I promise you, if the Sabres take a defenseman at 8, the next video I will make is a video of me burning my Sabres jerseys. That is how badly I will lose my mind if the Sabres take a defenseman at 8. There's no reason to take a defenseman at 8 this year. Every year for nearly the past decade, essentially, the problem for the Sabres has been goal scoring. They just cannot find goal scoring. And the past 3 years under Botterill, they've kind of loaded up on defensemen. Not like they really know how to draft anyway, but in 2018, they had 6 picks and took 5 defensemen. And I mean, and 2, Jason Botterill, totally loaded up on defensemen instead of going out of his way to make trades for forwards, which is what we've always needed. He dealt a couple picks for Colin Miller. He dealt a first-round pick and a top prospect for Brandon Montour. The 32nd pick in 2018, he took a defenseman. The 31st pick last year should have been a forward. He took a defenseman. You know, we have just gone so overboard on defensemen when our main issue has been scoring. And so this year, I swear to God, I will lose my mind if they take a defenseman. They should take a forward at 8. Especially this year, it's a deep forward draft. And if they take that goalie, so help me God. So this year, outside of the top 3, it's really kind of tough to predict how it's going to shake out. For me, and being a Sabres fan, I think the best case scenario for us is if 2 defensemen go before the Sabres pick at 8. So if Drysdale and Sanderson go somewhere in the top 7, both of them, I think the Sabres will be in a pretty good spot. I don't know how likely that is to happen. I think definitely one of them will go before the Sabres. But if that second defenseman can go, then I think we'll get a really good forward. So I don't know. I hope it can happen. Teams that I'm looking at possibly that could go D. I mean, you know, you got Detroit at 4, and I've seen a lot of people, including Detroit writers and even Craig Button from TSN, mocked that Detroit will take Drysdale. I just I could understand. I feel like all I've been hearing out of Detroit is anger that they passed on Quinn Hughes. But it doesn't make sense to me for Detroit to pass on a forward and take a defenseman a year after they kind of shocked everybody and took Moritz Seider at 6. To me, I just think the forwards are too good to pass up, but a lot of people in Detroit are talking about possibly a defenseman, so I don't know. You know, a team like Ottawa, obviously they're going to get a star forward at 3, so maybe to complement that, they'd like to go D at 5. Again, I don't know, like I personally probably wouldn't, but maybe I would probably just like load up on forwards while I can and go crazy from there. A team like Anaheim possibly, I think makes the most sense. Like everyone seems to be mocking a defenseman to Anaheim at 6, but I think the last defenseman they took in the first round was in 2015, so that makes sense. And then another team, maybe New Jersey goes D. 2017, obviously they took Hischier first overall. 2019 they took Jack Hughes first overall, so that could be another wild card. I don't know. I'll do a little mini mock draft here. Let's see how we get there. All right, so here's my board here. We'll do a little mini mock draft up until pick 8. Let's see how we think the Sabres are getting where they're getting. So the first pick is obviously going to be no secret. It's going to be Lafreniere. Lafreniere's going to the Rangers, so we'll just mark that down. So then at number 2 with the Kings, I have no idea. Like, I've been going back and forth a million times who I think the Kings are going to pick. I just, like, it's a coin flip between Stützle or Byfield, so it could go either way, but the order doesn't really matter. It's going to go one and then the other, so I guess at 2, I'll go Stützle at 2 and then Byfield at 3 to Ottawa. So after that, I think is when things can go in really a number of directions. With Detroit at 4, I guess they could go defenseman at 4, but to me, I don't see that. I think the forwards are too good to pass on. I like Cole Perfetti at 4 for them, so I think that's what I'll go with here. All right, so back to Ottawa at 5. Again, like, they could go D here. It wouldn't shock me one way or the other which way they go. Either way, they're getting a good player at 5, but I'm going to guess that they look to maybe load up on forwards. I think at this point the forwards might be too good to pass up, and if they do, I think they look at a guy like Lucas Raymond, so we'll guess they go that route. That'd be crazy though to walk away with, 2 top 5 picks. Like, good luck, our division. So then at 6 we get to Anaheim. This is kind of the spot where I'm hoping a defenseman goes. I think it makes the most sense. At 6, Anaheim would probably go with Drysdale, so fingers crossed on that one. I want 2 defensemen to go before the Sabres. 1, because it'll leave us a good forward, but 2, I don't want them to get any crazy ideas, And then we get to New Jersey at number 7, and they kind of determine what's going to happen to us. If I'm New Jersey in this spot, I probably look at someone like Marco Rossi being available, and I would probably go that route. Personally, I would love it if Rossi fell to the Sabres at 8, but if not, and if this is kind of how the board is sitting at 8, this wouldn't be the worst case scenario for us. I think if Drysdale doesn't go, and if all the top forwards go the 7 picks before us, I think that would kind of be worst case scenario. But if the board looks like this, I could see the Sabres going Alexander Holtz at 8, so there you have it. They could go Lundell, they could go Marco Rossi's teammate Jack Quinn, but I just think for a team that constantly needs goal-scoring wingers, I think that would probably be one of the best options. Like I said, ideally for me, just based on what could happen, I would love to see Marco Rossi fall to the Sabres. Maybe his size would potentially scare scouts off, but to me, it's not a problem. The reigning OHL MVP plays a really good two-way game, plays with an edge, and is totally skilled. I would love it if he found a way to fall to the Sabres at 8. But if not, we end up with someone like Alexander Holtz. Reminds me a lot of Victor Olofsson in the sense that has a crazy laser beam of a shot. A sniper with that shot-first mentality. In theory, if you think about the future, and if we have Jack Eichel as our number 1 center, Dylan Cousins eventually as our second-line center, we would definitely need wingers to kind of fill in those lines. If you got a guy like Holtz who can play with a guy like maybe Dylan Cousins, who, if Cousins can drive the play and just feed it off and Holtz can bury it, that would be pretty ideal. The problem with the Sabres pipeline forever has always been skilled wingers. They've drafted their centermen, they've drafted defensemen. They've never really gone out of their way to get good wingers who can score, and have never developed any up through their system. So if we end up with that, then I think you could consider that a win for the Sabres. Hopefully he won't be too far away from being able to move up to the NHL. I mean, we only got so much longer with Jack Eichel's patience. We gotta start moving. I don't think it's a total stretch to think that maybe Marco Rossi could fall to 8. Even Craig Button from TSN mocked him going 8th to the Sabres. So I don't know, we'll see. You never know. Like last year, I don't think Dylan Cousins was expected to fall to 7 where the Sabres were picking, and then Detroit kind of came out of nowhere and picked Moritz Seider, and even Moritz Seider was shocked that the Red Wings picked Moritz Seider. But yeah, you never know how these things play out. Anyone can reach up for someone you didn't think of. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully the Sabres don't do what they normally do and screw it up. I'll be filming my entire reaction to the first round of the NHL draft on Tuesday, so be be sure to look out for that. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you felt about my thoughts. Comment below. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you for the NHL draft. Go Bills. Go Sabres too, I guess. And I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.